What's going on, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. My name is DadBodGamingGod. Um, this is new for me. Never done a React thing. But you know what? This is one of my favorite parts of the new leagues. Getting teased, getting like just fed little bits of information. Even though the manifesto was not something I was super excited about, in fact, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Um, I have high hopes for this because the teasers that we've been given since then have been really, really good. So I'm excited. I'm kind of sad that I wasn't able to watch this live. I just got off work. So, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and give an actual live reaction. I've seen none of this. I've seen no Twitter posts. I've seen no videos on this whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and boot this up, and yeah, let's see what's going on.
Exile, you have wandered far to arrive at the shores of my lake.
Okay.
A hidden realm I have overseen for longer than time itself.
This synthesis again?
These waters harbor deadly secrets. Rayclast is reflected here. Reassemble it as you see fit. But the mirror...
Is this just a better version of synthesis?
Beware the image that strikes back.
The Kalandra Challenge League. Is that Kalandra? Atlas Memories? Oh, 4 new gems. Quinn doesn't have to eat his own dick. That's good. Okay. Arch Nemesis rework. Harvest rework. Beyond rework? I thought they were getting rid of Beyond.
Exile. Will you endure? Or will you drown?
Okay. Why are they reworking Beyond if they're getting rid of it? Or is this their way of getting rid of it is by just doing it over? Come on, Chris.
In the Kalandra Challenge League, you will travel to the mirrored lake that granted Kalandra her powers of reflection. We want you to experience the story for yourself, so I'll avoid spoiling the details here. When you get to explore the league next week, you'll find out more about Kalandra and her motivations. Your experience with Kalandra so far is probably of her coveted mirror, which duplicates items by reflecting them. The lake itself has the power to reflect entire encounters from elsewhere in Rayclast. As you explore the lake, these reflections emerge from its mirrored surface. Sometimes these reflections are encounters with hordes of monsters. And sometimes you'll encounter extremely powerful foes, reflected from elsewhere in Rayclast.
No, no.
Often, reflections involve league content, such as this encounter with a Harbinger boss. As you play through the league, you'll occasionally encounter a set of columns protruding from the ground, with a mirrored tablet on top. This tablet invites you to construct a custom set of encounters at the Lake of Kalandra, offering a series of different reflections to place in whatever layout you wish. Each of these reflections represents an encounter that you must defeat when you next travel to the lake. Once you have assigned a reflection to every location on your mirror tablet, which will take a few areas, you can open a portal to the Lake of Kalandra itself.
Okay.
There you will get to experience these reflections of Rayclast as Kalandra manifests
miniature
the encounter you have
synthesis.
chosen.
Which I'm down for.
But as you push farther out into the lake-shrouded waters, you will find each encounter to be more difficult, but more rewarding. This difficulty value counts up by 1 for each location away from the entrance the encounter is.
Okay. What does that mean?
The best rewards will try to engineer tablets that have long, windy strings of encounters, reaching very high difficulty values by the end. To do this, there are occasional options that can be chosen which allow you to move and swap the entrance, reflections, and water tiles on the tablet. Additionally, as you progress through the league, you'll be able to unlock special abilities that let you manipulate the options you have available on each tablet. If you don't like any of the choices available to you, you can earn the ability to skip picking one entirely. The next ability is even stronger. It lets you re-roll the list of options so that you can immediately pick another one. Finally, you can earn the ability to exile a choice entirely. For the rest of this tablet, that choice will no longer appear.
Okay.
Once you reach maps, you'll be able to itemize your mirrored tablets so that they don't have to be played immediately. They can be stored for later or traded with other players.
Oh, okay, the whole thing, not each individual
As
tile.
you visit the Lake
Okay.
of Kalandra to attempt your mirrored tablets, there are many types of rewards you can find. An encounter that is
whole
based on a
ass
past
essences?
league implicitly grants the rewards from that league, but with extra juice so that you're not missing out on bonuses you'd have obtained if your Atlas tree applied to the lake. Other encounters that aren't based on past leagues generally yield a reward chest that rises out of the lake when you complete the encounter. Certain reflections grant you access to a new variation on rare items, exclusive to the Kalandra Challenge League. When you complete the encounter, you'll get access to some reflecting mist, which presents you with a difficult choice. It generates a rare ring or amulet with an unusual set of mods. Some are very high, and some are very negative, which hurt your character.
What?
The item is then duplicated, with a reflected copy having inverse mods. Negative ones are now positive, and vice versa.
What?
The amount that all of these mods are scaled up by is based on the difficulty of the encounter you just completed. You may only pick one of these items to keep.
So is this tier
It'll
negative
often be a
1?
tough choice, with each item having its own strong pros and cons. But sometimes you'll be offered an item where the negative mods aren't downsides for your build, and the juiced up positive
Holy
mods are very
shit.
attractive. There are also some special new jewelry base types that you can rarely
Good
receive from this
lord.
process. One rare and difficult encounter rewards you with an advanced version of this crafting process. It allows you to bring your own ring or amulet, distorting and reflecting it with the same process described before. The mods are scaled up in value and some are randomly negated.
Holy
The
fuck.
reflected copy has the inverse set of negations.
What the
It will
fuck?
certainly be tempting to gamble with some of your best jewelry to try to double the values that really matter for your build and negate the ones you don't care about.
Jesus.
If you're very lucky, you may find a special League-exclusive unique ring at the lake. Kalandra's touch mirrors the effect of your other ring. The Kalandra Challenge League has something for everyone. It's an out-of-area combat league where you build your own sequences
Wow.
of encounters. It lets you fully dictate your desired level of risk and reward and fully customize what content you play. It features a powerful crafting system, valuable rewards, and offers a glimpse into the lore of one of Path of Exile's most iconic characters. We can't wait to play it with you next week.
Holy
In
shit.
every expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, we'll be improving Path of Exile's endgame with new content to explore and new ways to customize your endgame experience. In the Lake of Kalandra expansion, we're introducing Atlas Memories. They aren't a League feature, they're part of the core game, affecting standard and persisting once the Kalandra League has ended. In maps, you'll very rarely find a memory item, which represents a set of memories that an NPC has about their past. Something special happened to them while exploring maps, and you're able to experience those events for yourself. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. In this Atlas memory, Kirik tells you about the time that he stumbled across a staging ground for a Harbinger invasion of Rayclust. Each successive map you play in the sequence has more and more Harbinger portals and invaders that you must deal with. This is a memory of Nikos, where he entered a sequence of maps that were entirely consumed by permanent breaches, like a Breachlord's domain. He survived to talk about it, but will you? Right-click a memory and apply it to a completed map on your Atlas. It'll mark out a series of adjacent maps that the Atlas memory will span. When you next talk to the relevant NPC in your hideout, they'll tell you about their recollections and will allow you to start exploring the memory. Each map in the sequence is provided for free by the NPC, and you'll be able to roll it like usual before running it.
Oh shit.
Because these maps are memories of the NPC, they are not affected by your Atlas tree. However, the content is generally as difficult and rewarding as a fully specialized Atlas tree would cause it to be.
Build your own prophecy chains?
Each successive map in the sequence gets harder and more rewarding as the memories intensify. While memories are tradable, they're also very rare and valuable, so you'll probably want to complete them yourself if you can. For players who love lore, Atlas memories help expand on the backstory of key NPCs.
Whoa!
For players wanting to try out different League mechanics at quite high levels of juice that they haven't specialized their Atlas for,
That was a
memories
unique
let them do this
essence.
without a bunch of respecking. And for everyone else, Atlas memories are a great way to earn some valuable items, if you're strong enough to complete them. The Lake of Kalandra expansion also contains a new unique map that I'm quite excited about. The Trial Master is back. This boss from Ultimatum, and more importantly, the unique items he drops.
Is Ultimatum back? I don't care about the Trial Master. Fuck the Trial Master.
Lake of Kalandra.
Is
Is
Ultimatum back?
Difficult endgame Val content. We have not forgotten about the rest of Ultimatum and have a specific plan for how it will return in the future.
Ah, fuck you, Chris.
Whenever we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, we take every opportunity we can to add new variations of rewards that you can find. We don't want to say too much about how these are acquired, but in this expansion, it's possible to very rarely find special foil versions of any pinnacle boss unique item. These have the same stats as regular ones, but are certain to be highly prized by collectors or wealthy players wanting to show off.
So they're just foil versions of the regular versions of them.
The Lake of Kalandra expansion contains 14 new unique items. In addition to the Kalandra's Touch Ring,
Not for me.
exclusive to the Kalandra Challenge League, we have introduced a new endgame pinnacle boss reward, a supporter unique, the Tower of Ordeals unique map, 6 new Grand Spectrum jewels, and even some leveling uniques. The first we're showing you today is Soul Ascension, a pair of gloves designed by Zizaran. They drop from the Uber Elder. Soul Eater is a very powerful buff, but it is usually hard to obtain in boss fights. This unique grants you the ability to gain stacks of Soul Eater when you hit a unique enemy, but also makes you lose those stacks if you aren't near one. Ghost Wraith is a leveling unique which allows you to play as an almost pure energy shield character during early parts of the campaign. We'll reveal the other new unique items in this expansion over the next week. Path of Exile has a lot of unique items in its core drop pool, over 700 in fact. We feel that there are 2 big problems with unique items.
Come on, Sire Shards.
The first is that you
I don't
find
think Sire's gonna get buffed,
but
but
they are generally pretty useless when you do. Sure, there are some powerful endgame or build-enabling uniques that feel amazing to find, but the majority of unique items found throughout the game are rarely actually useful to you.
wonder who did that,
In
Chris.
the Lake of Kalandra expansion, we have made a lot of changes here. We have reduced the overall drop rate of uniques throughout the game and have rebalanced and overhauled over 100 existing unique items.
Wait, you
with an
nerfed
emphasis on
drop
uniques in the
rates
core drop
of
pool,
all of them?
including leveling uniques and some endgame uniques. You're going to find unique items less frequently now, but when you do, they're going to be a lot more punchy. Nyx's Lantern has been completely changed from the ground up. Previously, it was trying to allow you to play a hybrid attacker and spellcaster, but it didn't really work very well. With the new design, it's a lot more elegant and delivers on this goal by simply granting high damage and the Battle Mage effect, so that your weapon damage is added to your spells.
Don't foresee that being
Spells
anything
and
different.
Ripples is an example of an item where we merely needed to tweak values on the existing mods to make it a lot better. We want mod value rolls to matter more, and this item now showcases that well. If you find a high rolled one early on, you're probably not replacing it for a long time.
Holy shit! 1,000 Ribbons was already better than Tabula.
Malachai's Simula was trying to deliver the Blood Mage fantasy by allowing you to spend life to cast your spells.
20%
This was meant
chance
be
to deal
special
double
because The Blood
damage.
Magic Keystone was far away from the Witch starting location on the skill tree.
Buff Blood Magic.
Unfortunately, this item wasn't really
Blood
powerful enough to
Magic is
justify its
doo-doo.
use. It has now been overhauled, and alongside Blood Magic, it grants a powerful multiplicative damage boost. With over 100 uniques rebalanced in this way, your play experience is now punctuated by quite large bursts of power when you find one. We'll continue to examine the power level and rarity of more unique items in subsequent expansions. The Lake of Kalandra expansion includes 3 new skill gems and 1 new support gem. Alchemist's Mark is a new mark skill. Igniting or poisoning the marked target creates burning or caustic ground underneath them, based on the damage of the strongest ignite or poison on the enemy. The damage of the ground effects also scales with Curse and Mark effect, providing a non-standard way to scale your build's damage. Hitting the marked target also refills some of your flask charges. This new skill opens up an extra source of damage for Ignite or Poison-focused characters, especially for Ignite builds that want an alternative to Flame Surge, or Poison builds that cause fewer, higher damage poisons. This high-level build uses Flame Blast, with 100% of the damage converted to Chaos, to inflict huge poisons on enemies. When Alchemist Mark is cast on an enemy first, that enemy drops Caustic Ground when it's poisoned, scaled by those big Flame Blast poison hits, melting everything into a puddle. Galvanic Field is a new shock-themed spell. When used, you gain a buff, granting a small bonus chance to shock. When you next shock an enemy, the buff is consumed and the enemy becomes energized, repeatedly zapping themselves and nearby targets, a lot like Ball Lightning. If the energized enemy dies, then the energy sits at their location and continues to zap things. Galvanic Field's area of effect and zap damage scale with the strength of the shock on the target. While Galvanic Field is great for any build that shocks, you can even fully build around it, and use a skill with increased shock effectiveness like Arc to shock enemies and kill them with a ball of death. Lightning Conduit is another new shock-themed spell. A wave propagates out from the target location, causing lightning bolts to strike all shocked enemies in a large area. The damage is scaled by the strength of the shock on each enemy. Lightning Conduit cannot itself shock and won't hit non-shocked enemies at all, so the challenge with this skill is to find a way to consistently apply powerful shocks to your targets to make the most of Lightning Conduit's high damage potential and area of effect. This high-level build uses Wave of Conviction to shock enemies, before casting Lightning Conduit until they're obliterated. For longer fights, it can employ Galvanic Field to create a constant source of lightning damage. Last but not least, Overcharge Support is a new support gem that causes supported skills to deal less damage, but makes them inflict much stronger shocks and grants them a higher chance to shock. Overcharge lets many different lightning skills create powerful shocks. Use this to take advantage of Shock's large damage multiplier, or to activate Lightning Conduit and Galvanic Field. As Path of Exile expands, we often revisit previous leagues, reworking them so they stay relevant and engaging. In Lake of Kalandra, we are targeting 3 such leagues: Arch-Nemesis, Beyond, and Harvest. The larger context here is that we've been re-examining what role rare and magic monsters have in Path of Exile.
Please nerf it.
Of Arch-Nemesis modifiers
Please
as the
nerf
monster
it.
mod pool prompted quite a lot of discussion about how often you should encounter rare and magic monsters, how difficult they should be to kill, and how rewarding their death should be. Previously, League content made fights hard by spawning a lot of rare monsters. A whole lot. In some cases 6 to 8 times the normal rate of rare monsters. Now that we have better mods available to make fights against rare monsters individually challenging, we have gone through the whole game and normalized the rate that rare monsters are spawned at. Some leagues had quite large reductions in spawn rate. You won't encounter situations with dozens of rare monsters on screen at once anymore. Alongside this reduction of how many rare monsters you'll face, we have improved their rewards and made sure that they scale with both difficulty of the encounter and any item rarity or quantity bonuses that you have. During the campaign, you'll only encounter 1 and 2 mod rare monsters. The 2 mod encounters are a bit harder and have better drops.
Okay.
In maps, you'll stop encountering 1 mod rare monsters entirely, and will mostly encounter 2 and 3 mod rare monsters.
You're not buffing
It'll
them though,
also be
right?
possible to encounter 4 mod rare monsters again. Not only are the innate item drop bonuses scaled up significantly on monsters with many mods, but we have made these challenging encounters rewarding in another way too. About a third of the more powerful Arch-Nemesis modifiers now use a special reward conversion system. For example, if you defeat a monster with a Corruptor mod, all of its drops become corrupted.
Which is garbage.
The Solaris Touched mod converts all of its item drops to maps.
Okay. So they're getting
The
their
Katava Touch mod
unique
will cause
stuff
the
back.
rarity of its drops to be upgraded by 1 tier. So magic becomes rare, rare becomes unique, and so on.
That's cool.
If you're lucky, you can find these conversion modifiers on both the 3rd and 4th mod of a rare monster. This causes them to stack together. So if you kill a 4 mod rare monster with both the Entangler and Katava Touched mods on it, its heavily juiced drops will also be converted to jewels with their rarity upgraded by a tier. Due to the high amount of inherent item rarity that 4 mod rare monsters have, this may result in several unique jewels dropping.
Interesting.
This conversion system is fully compatible with your item rarity and quantity bonuses, as well as the drop bonuses from all other Arch Nemesis mods. Going forward, we want to make sure that a lot more item reward mechanics scale with your character item bonuses. Get your Magic Find characters ready. As a result of this system, when you do encounter a rare monster with many Arch Nemesis mods, you are well rewarded for the difficult fight. We have also been listening to feedback about the Arch Nemesis mods that can spawn on magic monsters. Too many of them had external visual clarity issues like on-death effects. We have toned these down on magic monsters so that more of them are stat-based bonuses that aren't so spammy.
Thank you.
Encounters that spawn a series of magic monsters now make sure to preserve the same Arch Nemesis modifiers between the monsters rather than rolling a different one for each monster. This will further help keep the game state understandable in hectic situations. Beyond was introduced in August 2014,
This is the one.
initially as
Well,
a
that and
hardcore
Harvest.
only challenge league. It's 8 years old now and certainly has several issues. Firstly, the art. Have you ever really taken a close look at a Beyond Demon? It is literally a bandit from Act 2, dunked in red paint. The second issue is its balance. The number of magic and rare monsters spawned is so much higher than the rest of the game, and whatever problems that resulted in before are magnified now that rare monsters are meant to be more difficult. Beyond also spawns way too many unique
At
monsters,
least I
which
have
causes
chicken.
its own set of issues. In Lake of Kalandra, we have given Beyond much more than a fresh coat of paint. The Scourge have taken over the realm of the Beyond Demons. The old bandit Beyond Demons are gone. Summoning monsters from Beyond will now
Scourge?
summon Scourge monsters and bosses.
Scourge?
We have completely rebalanced the rate that Beyond monsters and bosses spawn at, so that it's appropriate for modern Path of Exile.
Oh shit.
The new Beyond monsters can now occasionally drop the Scourge League's tainted currency items that allow you to
Oh!
corrupted items.
Hoo hoo hoo.
We've also completely revamped how harvest crafting works. Rather than being presented with a selection of crafting options that must be used immediately, you now receive itemized tradable life force of the appropriate color. This life force can be used later, in your own time, at the hoarder crafting bench in your hideout. Its crafting options are now priced in terms of this itemized life force.
Yes!
Tier 4 bosses are now encountered much more frequently and can drop a key to fight a Shabi. She yields special life force which can be used for specific...
So it's a crafting bitch that we pay for with
We
goop.
have rebalanced all harvest crafts for the new system and have removed a bunch of filler crafts and some ones with deterministic outcomes that were incredibly RNG gated before.
Oh my god, yes.
Some crafts that provided access to exclusive content, like the
Oh.
special offerings to the goddess, have been removed because these items can now be found in more appropriate locations elsewhere in the game.
Oh, I'm gonna coom.
The result of these changes is that when you complete a harvest, you aren't presented with 30 crafts, which must either be used immediately or unsafely traded to some player you found on a community Discord server. It also means that every bit of life force you receive is going towards a craft that you actually want to use on one of your items, when you're ready to use it. Your interaction with the Sacred Grove is now far simpler as well. Just enter, pick your plots, defeat the monsters, and get on with your mapping. Like with Arch
God
Nemesis
damn,
and
they're-
Beyond, we've
they're
also
going
addressed
big.
the monster composition of Harvest's fights, so that it doesn't contain too many rare monster mods, and so that it is of appropriate difficulty for its rewards. In addition, the rewards for Harvest now scale with map quantity and pack size, incentivizing you to juice your maps.
Yeah, we're
Previously,
not
the
doing that in
crafts you received were
hardcore.
not scaled up at all if you played a harder map. Last week, we posted this expansion's character balance manifesto, which detailed the many changes we're making in Lake of Kalandra. There are plenty more changes, which we will include in the full patch notes that will be posted after this live stream.
That's a little bit scary.
But on this stream, I'd like to talk about a few specific areas: minion itemization, exalted and divine orbs, and the trickster ascendancy class. Historically, minion builds have not been particularly reliant on the stats of their items. Most of the power of their minions came from their skill and support gems. This led to a few problems. Firstly, it gave them a bit of a free ride compared to most other character builds. And secondly, it meant that it was hard for minion players to actually specialize their character to be really, really good. We want to solve both of these problems in this expansion.
I disagree with
Path of
that,
Exile is a
but
game
okay.
about items, and that means that you will now be strongly rewarded for finding items that make your minions better. It also means that, like with other builds, if you find good items, you'll be far more damaging and survivable than before. We described a variety of minion changes in last week's Character Balance Manifesto. Today I want to show you the new base item types we have added to help your minion itemization. We've added a new ring base type, the Bone Ring. This ring has implicit minion elemental resistances and can roll minion related modifiers. We've added level 20 and 50 versions of the Convoking Wand, called the Calling Wand and Covenant
Okay,
Wand,
the
respectively.
implicit
Like the
having
Convoking
increased
Wand,
damage
these
is
new
actually
base types
good.
can roll minion related modifiers. Some new minion related mods have been added to the pool available to these wands, and some
Okay.
existing mods have been adjusted or
I
made
like
more
this. I
common.
like this change. Adding lower level
We have
versions of it.
repurposed the bone
And
themed spirit shields
the
so
shields
that they have
too.
minion damage implicit mods rather than spell damage.
Plus one
They can
minions on a
also roll
shield.
minion related mods.
Huh. That's really good.
Alongside the stable of existing unique items, there's now quite a lot more base type support for minion characters, and good mods on those base types can stack up to some pretty large bonuses for your minions. I also wanted to discuss two of the rarest currency items in Path of Exile, Divine Orbs and Exalted Orbs. These actually have the same drop rate, but Exalted Orbs are worth so much more in trade because there's no easy vendor
Really?
recipe for them, and because they're consumed when you craft certain meta mods onto items. Out of these two currency items, we would actually prefer the Divine Orb effect to be rarer, so that unique items with good rolls matter more, and so that players can exalt craft their items more frequently.
Like nerfing Divine Orb rates?
We are making two changes that will impact this. Firstly, we are changing the cost of crafting meta mods so that they cost Divine Orbs rather than Exalted Orbs.
Okay.
Secondly, we are changing the 6-link vendor recipe to
No!
craft 20 Orbs of Fusing rather than a Divine Orb.
That's garbage!
This change will result in Exalted
That's
Orbs being far
awful.
more available for crafting.
That is
and
actually
Divine Orbs
awful.
less available for re-rolling mods on items. It'll certainly be interesting to see what the de facto trade currency becomes next league.
That's actually really bad for solo self-foam.
Next, I'd like to talk about the Trickster Ascendancy class. We haven't been happy with the state of this Ascendancy
That
class
is a
recently.
big nerf
While it
to
used to be
all
quite
the
powerful, we
those
moved its defining
crafts.
feature, Ghost Dance, onto the main passive skill tree. Since then, it has had a confused identity.
The
and
20
hasn't met
fusing
power
should
level
be
of the other
the
Ascendancy
5-link
classes.
recipe.
In this expansion, we have reworked the Trickster with a focus on establishing thematically appropriate defenses and ways to manipulate speed. One step ahead allows the Trickster to manipulate time in an interesting way. Enemies are slower than normal and cannot have their action speed raised above this value, such as through an acceleration shrine. Conversely, the Trickster is faster by default and cannot have action speed lowered below this value, effectively making them immune to effects that lower action speeds such as freeze, chill, or temporal chains. Spellbreaker ties together spell suppression and energy shield in a powerful way. Spellbreaker grants some spell suppression chance, which is an effect that reduces damage taken from spells.
That's.
The skill also starts your
I mean,
energy
it's
shield
okay.
recharge half the time you suppress spells. Since Trickster characters tend to have a high evasion rating, you will be evading some hits and recharging on others, meaning that your energy shield recharge stays active most of the time.
ES recharge is a bait.
Spellbreaker
ES
also
regen's
further
just strictly
improves
better.
defenses by reducing the damage
Plus
you take
with,
from suppressed spells while on full energy shield.
Ghost Reaver or what?
For
Or
those that want a
Ghost
different way to
Dance.
recover energy shield, the powerful Soul Drinker notable passive is no longer exclusive to Forbidden Jewels from the Uber-Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds. Any Trickster can now allocate this skill.
Okay. Overleach for energy shield.
Polymath
That's, I
provides more
guess.
bonus damage, life, mana, and energy shield on kill for each different type of mastery you have allocated. It reinforces the idea of a Trickster being a jack of all trades, and will lead to interesting decisions when planning your passive tree.
That's
trying to
weird.
fit in as many different types of masteries as possible. Overall, the new Trickster is intended to be the
I could
Shadow's
see that
answer
to
the
be like a
champion, but
20%
faster.
more
He should be an
damage
exciting
bonus.
option for players who want to get a lot of evasion, energy shield, and recovery out of their Ascendancy class while still being able to melt enemies. Alongside
I don't know
today's
if
live
that's gonna
stream,
be
we're launching
enough.
2 new series of supporter packs, the Knight and Rogue packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available during the Kalandra League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. Every microtransaction you are about to see is entirely cosmetic and does not affect your character's progression or power. The Knight Pack series contains 6 exclusive microtransactions, including the full Knightmaster armor set. The Aetheric Mana Flask releases a burst of mana upon activation then draws in energy from the environment as your mana refills. The Hoarder's Stash is a stash skin that can be used in your hideout. As you place items in the stash, they hover above it until you're finished, before being sucked into storage.
I feel like that's just unneeded.
This is the Nightmaster armor set. While wearing its helmet, your actions are periodically duplicated by an ethereal copy of yourself. The Blood-Scouring Cloak absorbs blood as you slay monsters. It tracks your kill streak and cleans itself off when the slaughter ends.
I think that would
The Ring
scare
of the
me.
Victor causes a podium to rise up underneath you when you are standing still, elevating you above other players.
Seek refuge here.
The Warlord's Lieutenant Portal summons a warrior spirit who will greet you, cheer you on, and commend you on your actions.
Onward to battle.
I am proud of you.
The Rogue Pack series has 6 exclusive microtransactions,
Rottweiler?
including the Rogue Stalker armor set. The Beast of Burden Pit visually carries your items for you, becoming more laden with bags and packs the more full your inventory gets.
Wait, what? Oh,
The
visual.
Collector Serpent
Okay,
Shield
that's not an
covers the
actual.
treasure you find.
GGG,
Whenever
you
pick
can't
up an item, the
tease us
serpent
like
darts out to
this.
grab it.
You can't put
This is the
visual
Stalker
things
armor
in the
set.
game
While wearing its gloves,
that is
Crystal
real
Blades
things
will
in
appear
other
and slice
versions of the
your
same
enemies.
game. I don't like that at all. That's pretty much rubbing it in our face that
The
there's
corpse
loot
bone
pets in the
footprints
Chinese
cause
version.
exotic plant growth in your wake. The plants especially love corpses and will seek them out and grow in larger patches around them.
I don't like that either.
On the other hand,
Some
the
people would.
Undertaker's amulet inters corpses for you, burying them and marking their location with gravestones. The Unstable Explosives back attachment is not for the faint of heart. As your life gets lower and lower, it gets closer and closer to exploding. And when you die, your party members will certainly feel it.
Jesus.
As I mentioned before, these packs are exclusive to the Kalandra League and will leave the store in 3 months. They're available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and they directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 expansions like Lake of Kalandra. In addition, the supporter packs introduced with the Sentinel expansion are leaving the store forever in 1 week. Now's your last chance to purchase them, and we greatly appreciate your support.
I think I have all of them for this one.
Speaking of things leaving the store, the Kerrick's Vault Pass for Sentinel is only available for the next few days also, and will leave the store forever when the league ends. There's no penalty for purchasing the pass late in the league after you've wrapped up your map completion, so if you're pleased with where you got to in maps and Sentinel and want to lock in your unique skins, it's not too late to buy your pass. Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for Lake of Kalandra. Over the next week, our community team will post teasers for new and revamped unique items, upcoming quality of life improvements, and an announcement for the League launch race event. On launch weekend, we'll be running another set of Twitch drops, and expect to release the new Mystery Box and Kerrick's Vault Pass in the days after launch. Thanks for joining us and checking out today's reveals. We can't wait to see you in Rayclast on August 19th. We'll begin the Q&A in a few moments, so please get your questions ready in chat.
Okay. Does this include the Q&A? It does not. Okay. Well, that was something. Thoughts. That was really cool. I'm really excited for some of the changes. I'm really disappointed by some of the other changes. I really can't get over the fact that they're changing the 6-link vendor recipe. It does make more sense that a 6-link vendor recipe should give fusings. I agree with that. 20 is not enough. 20 is not even close. 20 fuse should be a 5 link vendor recipe. If you're vendoring a 6 link, it should be either 50 fusing for a regular non-corrupt 6 link. However, if you vendor a corrupted 6 link, you should get one of the tainted fuse. Absolutely. That would handle that. And as far as divine orbs go, divines should still have a vendor recipe. I don't understand why they think re-rolling stats on uniques is worth making super rare. Did they also remove the divines from harvest too? Is that what that means? Because I really, really like the harvest changes. However, if they also remove the divines from that, divining your gear is just going to be insane. And good old GGG hitting them with the double nerf. Not only did they make them insanely rarer, but they also changed the cost of certain crafts to be divine orbs now. So you need what, two divine orbs to multi-mod something now? And there's no reliable way of getting divine orbs? That is a huge nerf to Solar Cell Phone, in my opinion. Other changes. Beyond is being changed to Scourge. That's actually really cool. I was wondering what they were doing with that, since they're getting rid of Beyond. I guess F's in chat for Beyond. I think this is, we have seen the last Beyond mobs. We will not see those bosses again. Maybe we see them in Path of Exile 2 as reworked, revisited Beyond when we go to their world. Maybe, who knows? Let's see, what else did they do? The Harvest changes, really, really cool. Arch Nemesis changes. I have mixed opinions. The Magic Pack reduction of the mods, that is warranted. I'm happy with that. I really hope they're not buffing how hard Arch Nemesis mods are. They're like, oh, we're lessening the amount of rare mobs now, and making the ones that you do find hard. Well, they're already hard, so are you just keeping it the way they are and just nerfing the amount of them? Because I'm okay with that. If it's just keeping it at the same difficulty level, lowering the amount, but buffing the loot from it. Essentially, a 4-mod rare should be pretty difficult, but not impossible to kill. There's some other things which we'll go over. The mirrored rings or mirrored jewelry, and like the negatives or the positives is absolutely bonkers. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a ring in there that was like 163 life. That's insanity that exists. I saw that there was a +2 to fire skills ring, which is also or no, it was an amulet, which is also insane. So yeah, that's gonna be something to look into. Pretty sure there was also like a ring that had 100 strength on it. So that's really cool. So let's just go through the launch website and see what's going on. I might do another video for patch notes when they come out, because I don't think they're actually out yet, but we'll see. So yeah, alright, so Path of Exile, Lake of Kalandra. You may recognize Kalandra from the infamous Mirror of Kalandra, Path of Exile's most valuable item. The Lake of Kalandra expansion explores the identity of this iconic character and allows you to taste of her power. Our August expansion contains the Kalandra Challenge League, improvements to the Atlas endgame, 4 new gems, 14 new unique items, 100 plus buffed existing uniques, revamps to Harvest beyond an arch nemesis, and a variety of balance changes and much more. Okay. The Reflections Ray class. This reminded me a lot of Synthesis, and I think this is a better version of Synthesis. I really hated the fact that I had to build my own thing and then run it multiple times, and then like sometimes like you'd get halfway through and like one of the things along the way would disintegrate and go away, but none of the rest of them did. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, and I really didn't like that system. So I'm glad they're revisiting the idea of build your own maps type of situation. It did say that I think they said it's not part of your Atlas. I know the other thing with the Atlas memory is not a part of your Atlas. I don't know about these. Well, they're not maps, so I guess they're not part of the Atlas either. I have a good feeling about this. This looks really cool. This is definitely going to be a clear speed meta league, I have a feeling. Influence the lake. As you travel through Rayclast, you'll occasionally discover a mirrored tablet. Build up this tablet by replacing reflections of dangerous encounters at specific locations. Be careful though, some of these reflections contain immense challenges. Once you have assigned a reflection to every empty location in your tablet, you may open a portal to the Lake of Kalandra, which will manifest your creation for you to experience. So, we got anything interesting going on here? Not really. Just some blue mobs, some chilled ground. They're probably permafrost. Just dudes on a thing. Whatever. This is energy weapon, spectral helix, I think. Is that the unique iron flask? I don't recognize that flask. This is a trick or something with ghost shrouds. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's tornado. I think. I don't know what's going on over here. Okay. They did mention that it has some reward chests once you make it to a certain location, so that's cool. That again reminds me of Synthesis. And then the Harbinger King and the Harbingers. Okay. I like Harbinger. Harbinger's really cool. I just wish they would just get rid of the shards, give us a different reward for it. Control your destiny. The farther away from the lake's entrance an encounter is, the greater its difficulty and rewards are. You'll occasionally be offered choices to customize your mirrored tablet by swapping the layout around, perfecting your set of encounters and their rewards. As you progress through the league, you'll unlock special abilities to skip, reroll, and exile choices you are offered, letting you refine your tablets more efficiently. In the endgame, you'll also be able to itemize your completed tablets to save them for later or trade them away. What do we think about this? Like I said, this is better than the synthesis league mechanic. I don't like how it doesn't tell you, like it tells you the difficulty, but what does the difference between difficulty 1 and difficulty 2, like what is that? Is it the difference between tier 1 and tier 2? Is it the difference between a white map and a yellow map? Is it one level, like a monster level difference? I wish they would give a little bit more information on the difference in difficulties, personally. Okay, and so I guess these are just the blank ones, and then the entrance. And I noticed that it doesn't pause, so there's no what's the league? The Trawmaster. Whatever league that was. You know what I'm talking. Ultimatum. There's no ultimatum pause going on. So we have to like read through this and do stuff while things are possible to attack us again. So the choices here is packs of infested creatures, so it's probably like chaos-based monsters. Swap a water tile with an empty tile, so just giving us another empty. Or lightning-themed rogue exiles, plural. Okay, and then we have these options, which I believe is exile, reroll, or something else. I don't remember what the last one was. The reflected jewelry we kind of talked about. 189 life, and that is without. Oh, that's mirrored, and they are both mirrored when this happens. So I guess technically, if you have a really high life amulet, and you quality the amulet beforehand, you technically could get more out of this. But 189 life, negative 103 mana. That, like, this is both good and terrible at the same time. 124 life, but 105 reduced mana regen. I guess that's not bad for like a life tap build. 64%. This reflect rare jewelry stuff, this is going to be the league mechanic. Just making bonkers jewelry. Dusk ring. Okay, I don't know if they mentioned this. Left ring slot 15% reduced skill effect duration. Right ring slot increased spell effect duration. Okay. And then, okay, so the rest of it's just regular stuff. But the fact that we're getting a new ring type, dusk rings, cool. I wonder if, well, I'm sure it's going to be like quote unquote Atlas jewelry, which isn't a term anymore. It's just that it doesn't start dropping until maps. Let's read what it actually says. Generate an amulet or ring alongside its reflection. One copy may be kept. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, in the league's late in-game, you may bring your own. Okay, so probably white and yellow maps, you just generate them, and then, like, in red maps, you can put your own in. Atlas Memories, we kind of went over it a little bit, about, they're kind of like build your own prophecy chains. Kirax Memory of Feral. Harbinger portals, and additional currency shards. I wonder, are they, like, if you apply this, does that mean all of them are Harbinger stuff? Like, I know it gets more difficult the more closer to the end you get, so 1 Harbinger, 2 Harbinger, 3 Harbinger, 3 Harbinger plus the King, maybe? Kitten Cat Noodle. I'm sure you have already seen this by now. Nico is talking about Breach Lords. Why would Nico, of all people, be talking about Breach Lords? The Breach Lords are what's underground. We've been thinking that the Breach Stones go to another dimension or another world. No, baby. They go down. They're under the ground. That's who Nico's scared of. Huh. Now, that is a jump for lore-wise, but why would Nico have seen this? Unless this is just, like, random. Like, there is no lore implications on this. That it could have been anybody that had seen the Breach Lords. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Is Nico specifically connected to Breach? Or is it just a random modifier? I'm gonna have that in the back of my head. Going into that. New gems. I'm gonna start with what I think is the worst one of these new gems. Overcharge support. 25% less damage, 50% chance of shock, and shock enemies as though dealing 500% more damage. This is garbage. This is actual hot garbage. The reason for this is, as an elementalist, you already get a huge bonus to your shock effect. So getting to 50% shock, or is it 40% or 50%? Whatever the max is actually relatively easy. The fact that this deals less damage is insane. Why would you give up your own thing? Like, I guess this is just a way for Path of Exile 2 to have a utility skill that shocks when you are gonna have like access to fucking 17 different skills at the same time. Yeah, this is, I think, absolute hot garbage. Lightning Conduit. Let's see. Level 1 deals 58 to 174. That's a shit ton of damage. Lightning strikes all shocked enemies around a targeted location, then remove shock. Ooh, then remove shock from those enemies. Shocks cannot expire on enemies in range while casting it. Cannot be supported by Cascade or Unleash. Cannot shock it in itself. Okay. This spell's cast time is added to its cooldown if triggered. Okay, so it can be triggered. That's interesting. 10% more damage with hits per 5% shock effect. So if it's a 50% shock, that's 100% more damage. Right? 10. Yeah. That just says double damage. And it's already a lot of damage to begin with. So I could see Lightning Conduit being a thing where you shock with something else, and then it's essentially Bladefall Blade Blast, but it's something to shock plus a big hit, like Hydrosphere. You can Hydrosphere in, shock things as an Elementalist, and then Lightning Conduit right afterwards. It's going to come down to how large the AoE for it is. But yeah, that's actually really, really good. And it's a targeted location too. This is what Stormcall should be. I really like this skill. This might be something I test out pretty extensively. Galvanic Field. This was the other one that I was like, I don't know about this one. 1 to 18 damage at level 1. And what level was this? 28. Okay. Cannot shock. It's weird, all these skills that are lightning based that can't shock. Base duration of 6 seconds. Fires a beam every 0.1 seconds. So that's 10 hits a second. Can target each enemy only once every set 0.7 seconds. It can chain. That's something to keep in mind. I was going to try to move my mouse up to show you, but up in the tags, it's a chaining ability. Okay. Can target each enemy only once. Field gains 10% more damage with hits per 5% shock effect. Field gains +1 to radius per 10% shock effect. One field maximum. Is it a cooldown ability? Buff grants 20% chance to shock enemies. That part doesn't actually matter, I don't think. Not really. Base duration 6 seconds, but I don't see a cooldown time. Huh. If they don't have this as a cooldown, I think this is going to be really good. Because that's essentially going to be another double damage type situation. It honestly depends on the gem stats itself. An Alchemist Mark. I don't know about Alchemist Mark. This is essentially like a bad Flame Surge or a poison Flame Surge. Which I don't know. I'm not informed enough to know whether this is going to be good or not. Now, one flash charge when you hit a cursed enemy That's not terrible. Wait, just one flash charge period at random, and it's once every 3 seconds? Never mind, that might not be very good. Equip exceptional power, 14 new uniques. Okay, that's the soul eater on hit. That's kind of cool. No life on it though. Of all things for Ziz to design, and he doesn't put life on his own gloves. I assume that's going to be something that he didn't have any control of. He probably fought to add at least like 50 life on here, but that's what this is missing. This will never be used in hardcore. He's probably gonna drop his own gloves and not be able to use them. I would think. Ghost Thrive. This is weird. Like, this is a purely defensive body armor, but only for leveling. So, like, it's a lot of energy shield. A lot of energy shield. I don't know what you would use it with, why you would want to go CI early. But, I mean, I guess it's there. Level 11. Nyx's Lantern still probably is not going to get used ever. Malachi's Simula also still probably never going to get used because Blood Magic's not good unless they buff Blood Magic. Thousand Ribbons was already the best body armor to level with. Fuck Tabula. Compare a 5-link Thousand Ribbons to a 6-link Tabula. Thousand Ribbons all day, every day. 1,000,000,000%. And now you get a 1,000 ribbons, and it has 20 all res. That's insane. All the damage got buffed as well. The life got buffed, or the life, energy, shield, and evasion got buffed. I think the mana got buffed. The LE Prolif's the only thing that didn't get buffed, and who cares about the LE Prolif? This is best in slot for leveling uniques now. Fuck Tabula. Tabula's dead. Foil Hands of the High Templar. Like, this means nothing to me. Like, these are not any different, right? Like, this is just straight up what Hands of the High Templar are. It's just foil. That doesn't matter to me. And then this is the Trial Master map. See, I don't like this just because why would you? Yeah, they should not have done this. Like, I get that people are like, "Oh yeah, I want Ultimatum back. I want Trial Master back. I want the uniques back." That's fine and dandy. They brought back the uniques. They brought back the Trial Master. But here's the thing. It's been, what, like 4 leagues since we've had Ultimatum? You really think somebody knows what fuck Razor Dance means? Or Choking Miasma? Nobody knows what the fuck this shit means. People are going to end up killing themselves on accident to something in this trial. Because they have no idea. I'm gonna hope that when you hold Alt on it, which I don't think, nope. I'm gonna hope that when you hold Alt on the map in game, it actually tells you what the affix does. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it. They should have just held off, not given it to us, and just released Ultimatum on the next league. Or, released Ultimatum with this one. Like I said, this is going to make some people very happy, but it's going to also cause some issues because people aren't going to know what the hell to do with this. Explore modernized leagues. We are overhauling rare magic monsters. We talked about this. Past league content now spawns a more consistent and less overwhelming quantity of rare monsters. Defeating monsters with multiple arch nemesis mods. Now more rewarding. Okay, we talked about this. Beyond Harvest, Arch Nemesis. Okay. balance changes, blah, blah, blah. We talked about how the manifesto was done. This is going to be a quick overview of Trickster. So we have Heartstopper. Every 10 seconds, take 40% less damage from hits, 40% less damage over time. These are consecutive. I don't like it. Stop giving something like this. Like, you got rid of the pendulum thing from Elementalist, and everybody enjoyed not having to worry about balancing what state you're in. This is even worse because that one was purely offensive. This was purely defensive. Okay, we've got Polymath. Okay, more damage for each different type of mastery. That's cool. And then the recovery for each mastery as well. Okay, that's different. Swift Killer, just +2 frenzy charges. Huh. Interesting. They got rid of the... Yeah, they just completely got rid of the power charges from it. So just +2 frenzies. That will be good for a cold-based trickster with Ice Bite. Okay, we got one step ahead. Your action speed is at least 108% of its base value. And enemies' action speed is at most... Okay, so you get 8% increased action speed and 8%, and everything else has 8% reduced action speed. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it's good. It's a multiplier. I don't know. I would have to see the math behind it to say whether or not that's actually good. But there's no, like, actual damage behind it. It's just cast speed, attack speed, and movement speed. Okay. Escape Artist is the same, I believe. Soul Drinker, 2%. Oh, this is the overleech for energy shield. And 20% attack and cast speed while leeching. That's not bad. And then lastly is the damage suppression stuff, which I don't believe is very good. Just, you buffed all the suppressed stuff on the tree, which is exactly where your shadow is. So, I prevent 10% more of suppressed spell damage while on full energy shield. I don't think anybody's going to take this ever. Unless they just desperately need that suppression. The shield charge rate, recharge rate is a mega bait, in my opinion. Energy shield regen plus Ghost Dance is always going to be way better, in my opinion. Okay. ExileCon 2023? What the fuck? July 29th to 30th of 2023. Oh, shit. Huh. You know, I've never been to New Zealand. I will have vacation time. I might go to this, honestly. I've been playing this game for almost a decade now. I could see myself taking my first plane ride to go to New Zealand. New Keyrex Vault Pass. Okay, yep, they haven't released any of the actual information on that, and then supporter packs. Okay, well, I am going to probably call it here for now. This is an hour long, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start uploading this, but if you're watching this, thanks for making it all the way through. You're the best. I'm proud of you. If nobody's told you that today, I just did. But yeah, Lake of Kalandra looks to be a really cool league. Some things I'm not a big fan of, but some things I'm a really, really big fan of. So we're going to have to wait and find out how things shake out, how things feel with the actual gameplay. And yeah, we're waiting on patch notes at this point. They may have already dropped. I haven't checked. And depending on how long they are, I may make a separate video for those. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful night. And yeah, this is DadBodGamingGod. Peace.